Because it really comes down to adopting all of these new healthy habits. Because if our style of life now becomes a healthy life, a healthy way of doing things, I promise you, that desire that you had at the very beginning of your journey of releasing a certain amount of weight, of building a certain amount of muscle, of competing at a certain event, whatever it is, you will fulfill it. It will happen. Let's go. You are incredible. Your body has a purpose. Your life has a purpose. You were designed to live the best life possible. Mic check. Mic sound okay? Camera 1 good? Camera 2 good? All right, here we go. What's going on, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode. You are tuned in to listen. You're not defeated. And I'm your host, David Hernandez. Before we jump into today's episode, I've got a lot to share, a lot on my mind. I want to just remind you, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, click the little bell so that you don't miss an episode. You'll get all the notifications of our up and coming episodes. And you can also click the subscribe button so you stay connected. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, go ahead and click the follow button so you can get all the updates of every episode. Reminding you, every Tuesday, I'm coming up with a new episode. The key is to impact your life. I love providing value, and I love bringing insight in a unique way when we're talking about health to hopefully, and I say hopefully, get you to see health in a different way so that it can impact you and ultimately get you to live the life that you desire. Because look, I firmly believe that we have control of designing our life. And we can design it if we have the practical instructions, guidance, support system to help us keep going whenever things get challenging. So today's episode, I want to share with you a conversation that I had with one of my students. I recently had a conversation, and I've had the privilege of coaching her and mentoring her for the past year and few months. And when she came to me, she mentioned a very unique word that I hadn't heard it used in that way. She said that whenever she would start things, she would take the mindset of a seasonal mind or a seasonal, I'm taking on things in a seasonal way, meaning I'm only going to do it for a particular season. I'm only going to do it for a certain amount of time. And then once I'm done with that particular moment of my life, particular phase, particular season, I stop doing it. And, she's an actress. She is an ex-Miss Kentucky, and she had a lot of desires to do greater things with their life. And many of you hearing this or watching might be saying, well, but she's an actress. She's a beautiful woman. If she's been Miss Kentucky, like what else can somebody aspire to be or become? With this is that a lot of times we take on and we follow certain desires of life, not always only wanting to that be the end result. It's like we take on a business venture and we say, okay, I have this aspiration to achieve this, but there's always something that can, in that process, spark an interest or spark a flame or spark a new passion that might take us in a totally different direction, which means we might sometimes stick at something without actually maybe wanting to do it for long term or doing it for, a long season in my life. And that's okay, because I think in every journey of our life, there's going to be instances that one thing can lead us and oftentimes will always direct us into a different path. And that might be in business, that might be in your health journey, that might be in relationships, friendships. I remember I had friends that I thought were my best friends growing up, but now I look back and I say, yeah, they were there only for a moment, right? It was only for a particular era or season of my life. And going through our conversations, she talked about how now she's finding herself desiring health to not be a seasonal thing. And when I say seasonal or when I say health, I'm really talking about her perspective of what health was. Whenever she would prepare for a beauty pageant, it was really just for that moment or that time period of the pageant, right? The preparation. So she would go to the gym, she would eat healthy, she would be on top of her routine, so to speak, of life, because she was in a seasonal preparation for that pageant. And when that would come to an end, it's like, okay, great. Now I don't have to do this way. And so for her health concept or her interpretation of health was really restricted to a very specific moment in her life, which meant that a lot of those things that she was doing were very restricted, very stagnant, very strenuous, right? And they were very focused driven. During that preparation, it was like everything, no matter what, had to be done so that she can ultimately get to the outcome, which was winning the pageant. And she talked about how during this, she got to a stage in her life where she really disliked things that were healthy. She disliked having to do the things that we do that we ultimately do to be healthy or to live healthy or to live a healthy life, right? And in that, it was to a point where she really didn't care about her nutrition anymore. She really didn't care about eating, which was the true answer for her. Like, she just didn't want to eat. Because when she did focus on those pageants, it was like very strict, right? Very restricted. She couldn't eat this. She could only eat this. She couldn't eat this, too much of it. She could only eat a certain amount of it. And same thing for her exercise. It was like she really never developed a good relationship with exercise, with being active. It was always like, okay, if I want to be healthy, I must only go to the gym, and it has to be done in this specific way. They would hire her trainers to train her for that season, for that pageant. And so for her, living healthy was really only a temporary phase in her life. It was only a very temporary season in her life. And when we began, she was, I want to now take on a journey that will allow me to live healthy. And that is really key here. And that is what I want to shine light on today, because through our conversation, it was fascinating to see how when she started, her mindset was just, let me build my physique, because she thought that building her physique would ultimately make her live healthy. To where now, a year and several months after, her desire now is to make every part of her life be healthy. And this, my friends, here is a incredible, a remarkable mindset shift that few people, or the majority of people, really don't get to this stage. Because let's really talk about what oftentimes happens to many people when they're on their journey. And I'm talking about my experiences as a health coach, as a mentor. I've been doing this for 16 plus years, and I've seen many people's stories. I've come across many people's journeys. And oftentimes, when they start, they come with this very specific goal. And that goal might be, I want to lose an X amount of weight. I want to build or gain a certain amount of muscle. Right? I want to compete in a very specific event. That could be a triathlon, that could be a CrossFit, that could be a bodybuilding show, whatever that is. But it's often, usually it's very specific. Now, what happens is if we stay in this specific only mindset, meaning this is the only thing that matters, there's going to come a point where what we're chasing after is going to hit a stall. It's going to hit a challenge. And if the only primary focus of what we're doing is to achieve this set outcome, when this challenge arises or this difficult moment or life hits you across the face in every area of your life, many times I see stories of people quitting. Why is that? I firmly believe with all the fibers of my being, it happens because of this very specific mindset that oftentimes we don't get to, that oftentimes people struggle with getting to, because they stay in this seasonal mindset, meaning I'm just going to focus on this. I'm only chasing after this. But if we do not get to a place where our now mindset is, I want this to impact, or I want my life to be a healthy life, meaning a lifestyle, which we hear this term now like crazy. It's almost like people just regurgitate it because they've started to hear it often a lot more in the health and wellness space. But really, what does that mean? Lifestyle, meaning your style of life. Let's look at context clues and go backwards with this. The style in which you live, the environment in which you live, the things that you do, how you do those things, the way you function, your in and outs of daily activity, your even relationships, everything about your life, the style of life that you live is healthy. It's immersed in a healthy way, in a healthy way of doing, in a healthy mindset, in a healthy habit. When we get to this place, that now I'm not just interested in this set outcome, and please, I want you all to not misinterpret anything. I've got a lot on my head, and I want to make sure I really articulate it correctly for you, because I'm not saying that results aren't important. Results are absolutely important. However, what is more important is how we are viewing this journey. Because oftentimes we fall into this checklist mentality, this checklist way of living. If I'm on a journey of releasing a set amount of weight, to getting to a certain amount of muscle, to competing in a certain event, or whatever it is your goal is. If in this, I'm just living a check life, meaning, okay, gym, check. Okay, 120 ounces of water, check. Okay, walking for 20 minutes, check. If this is the way we are living and functioning, that is not enough. Because it's not simply about checking a box like we're doing a task. It's really about shifting our entire life, meaning I am now going to make my life be this way, which means my identity, who I am, my makeup, the way I think, the way I breathe, the way I walk, the people that I hang around with, my environment, the way I do things are completely immersed in health, in being healthy. So it's really about becoming. It's really about knowing that when I get to this mindset shift, that I'm not now just looking to do this because I'm on a health journey, right? Which I speak on it a lot. And the reason I do quotations, because oftentimes it can be looked at, okay, it's just a moment's standstill, a moment's a season, or a journey, or a certain lapse period of time. When I say journey, I'm really talking about a life journey. Because my friends, being healthy should never be a moment's period of time. Being healthy isn't just getting to release the weight and then that's it. Because oftentimes you're going to be challenged with something. I promise you there's going to be a moment where the diet you're following is going to stop working. The exercise program that you've been doing is
might stop working. Your calorie counting that you've been following may stop working. Things are going to be challenged. And why is that? Because there's certain moments in our life that, because our body is so intelligent, it's going to catch on to what we're doing. And it's going to come to this place of like, okay, I see what we're doing here, but I don't want to do it anymore. Or it just adapts. And if we don't get to this place of this mental shift, that now it's not simply about, okay, well, this thing isn't working, so I'm going to stop doing it. These exercises aren't working. They're not helping me because I'm not seeing the scale drop, because I'm not seeing the muscle being built. I'm not seeing this X result. Then I'm just going to quit because I guess this doesn't work. What else is there? No. It's really about, how determined are you going to be to ensure that everything about your life is immersed in this that you are looking to achieve, accomplish, adopt, become? Which is really here the key component that I want to drive home today. It's until we don't get to a place mentally here that I understand the complete and full value that living healthy is for me. It's not just about fitting into a certain type of clothes. It's not just about releasing a certain amount of weight. It's not just about feeling good, but it's about immersing everything about me, becoming this, adopting the things that I do, everything about it being aligned to this objective. Because if we're looking to release weight, it's really so that we can be healthier, be more optimal, have more energy, enjoy life, build self-esteem, have better self-confidence, maybe prosper more. It's all related to life. So if we're looking at this concept, we've got to get to a place, and I challenge you today to really honestly evaluate, what has my mindset been? As coaches and mentors, it's a very challenging occupation because we get confronted with things that when things stop working for people, the first ones that get attacked are those that are being coached, the coaches or the mentors of that set student, right? Which rightfully, that's great. I think we should all be challenged. But the problem is that the most challenging part of what we do is that if a student doesn't understand that it's about them fighting for making sure that their entire life is now transformed in this way of living, in this concept that we're adopting, in this new form of doing life, in this new style of living, it's going to be very, very hard. Because it's not that the things don't work. Many things are principles, they're established, they're science. The truth sometimes is that many of us may not truly get to this state of now it becoming you. It's no longer a seasonal, it's no longer a only result-oriented focus. It's no longer a number, so to speak, that I'm chasing after. It's no longer just simply about getting to this stage in my life, but it's about changing everything about my life so that I now am giving myself an opportunity to get there. It's about becoming, meaning we're focusing on changing our identity, our makeup, our style of living, of doing life, of adopting healthy habits in all areas of our life, and making sure that it's now immersed in who I am. So a great way to start, a great way to look at this is, in every instance, is asking ourselves a question. What would a healthy person do? What does a healthy life look like? What does a healthy person do on a daily basis? How does a healthy person think? How does a healthy person eat? How does a healthy person move? It's now not about just simply marking things off a checklist, but it's about everything about me is now immersed in a healthy new way of living, which means maybe your friends might have to change. Maybe what you do in the morning changes. What you eat definitely changes. The places that you go for activity, even the restaurants that you probably eat at may have to change. And when we get to now looking at our journey, right, our health life in this way, it starts to accelerate and it starts to change in a greater way, because now I'm not just focused on, is this thing working or not? So this conversation here is really passionate for me, because during having this conversation with her, I was so touched and happy, because in my head, and I told her, is like, you got it. You got it. You got the shift. You got the switch to flip. Because now she's questioning many things about her life, in how she's doing things, in who she's hanging around with, in the choices she's making, in the things that she's choosing to do throughout the day, the habits that now she wants to adopt. Because it really comes down to adopting all of these new healthy habits. Because if our style of life now becomes a healthy life, a healthy way of doing things, I promise you, that desire that you had at the very beginning of your journey, of releasing a certain amount of weight, of building a certain amount of muscle, of competing at a certain event, whatever it is, you will fulfill it. It will happen. It will come true. You'll see it through. Problem is, people just aren't willing to outlast the challenge. They're not willing to stick it through, no matter what the determination lacks, because of this mindset shift that oftentimes is hard to get to. That oftentimes keeps people from ever experiencing what that could be like. So it's about it becoming your identity, your makeup, you. And now when you wake up, it's like, this is what I do. This is how I live. These are the choices that I make. Why? Because that's who I am. Because that's what I do. And in this, you will find the self-inspiration, the self-drive. It's no longer about seeing the scale and being discouraged, or seeing that others are getting there before you. It's no longer about that, because now it's about how I'm choosing to live my life. How I'm choosing to make my choices, my environment changes. The things that I do change, the vacations that I do change, the things that I now set up in our itinerary change. It's no longer about, oh, I don't know what else to do. It's like the creativity just comes. Because we get out of simply living this checkbox life to now everything about what I do is about living, being, walking, experiencing health. And that, my friends, is the most powerful thing we can ever do for ourselves. And that right there, my friends, is what making health your lifestyle really is about. And that is how it's achieved. Because it's now your choices in the morning are going to change. You don't have to struggle about, oh, but I really like this food. It's calling my name. I really want this dessert. It's like, no. I choose this because that's just who I am. It's just the person that I've chose to become. This is just my new way. This is my new standard. My new way of doing things, my new way of living, my new way of thinking, my new way of processing things, my new way of viewing things, my perspective. Immersing myself in looking at all the areas that I know have not been good for me, or that I've not done effectively, that have gotten me into this way of life that I'm not happy with anymore. And choosing to say, I don't want that anymore. Not just for a moment, not just when it stops working or when it's working. It's no matter what, right? It's like the story that they get to an island and they're going to conquer this island. They come in a boat. What do? There's no turning back. We're not going to go back. How do we make sure we don't go back? Let's burn this boat. We're here, determined. We are going to conquer this island. I'm going to conquer this life for me. I'm going to conquer this objective. I'm going to conquer this goal. I'm going to conquer this desire. I'm going to conquer this way of living. I'm going to conquer this person that I want to be. No matter what happens, no matter how challenging it gets, no matter how difficult it becomes, no matter how oftentimes I want to quit. No, I can't quit. I've burned the boat. There's no going back. There's no giving up on this. There's no turning the other way. There's no, oh, well, I don't know if I can do it. No. I'm going to do it. And how do I do it? How do I ensure that? By making sure that everything about my being, about my life, about how I breathe and view things and walk and talk and function and process things and do things is all in line with this that I said I wanted to be and become. When we get to that place, my friends, it's game over. It is game over, because you will see it through. You will see it through. Well, David, how long is that going to take? I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had the answer. I'm 36 now. I'm still trying to figure that out, and I'm learning more now. I'm experiencing more. There's so much more that I have not even tapped into. Even though I've been doing this for 16 years, I'm still challenging myself to make sure that everything about my life is in line with health. And it's not just doing the same thing over and over. Oftentimes, a lot of it is going to be, but it's really about how can I explore something new? How can I explore other things that I have yet to explore in living this life that I want, that I desire? Now, being married, it's like making our marriage, our life, our relationship also aligned to this life that we both have chosen to live. Not together only in marriage, but a healthy life. Healthy life in our relationship, healthy life in our communication, healthy life in how we speak to each other, healthy life in our trust, healthy life in the choices that we make each day. Our style of life aligned with what we said we desire. Because then now we become examples for those that we bring on. When we choose and decide to have kids, they're going to be able to experience that. And so many households are falling apart in terms of health because they have not been taught that. Because people have just not chosen oftentimes to, okay, how can I learn this stuff? And now do it so that I can then leave that for my kids. And again, everything that I speak is through my own experience in the 16 years of dealing with people, of handling with people, of working with many beautiful, incredible people. But I think it's great for us to challenge ourselves with this each day. I don't know where you're at in your journey. I don't know what's going on with your life. I don't know what challenges you've come against. But what I do know is that if we can get to this place to make this shift, flip on this switch, it will allow us to be able to fight for it no matter what, and ultimately get to the end of it whenever that time comes. Feeling strong, confident, healthy, and we might even, not might even, but we will more than likely give us more years to our life to experience and to enjoy. So as I close today, I just really want to challenge you in a loving way to be honest with yourself and really ask, where is my mindset? Has it gotten to this place? And if it hasn't, why? And if it has, then I challenge you to keep moving in that direction. Do not allow circumstances or situations to discourage you. Because let me tell you, everything about your journey is going to be challenged. My health these last few years have been rocked. From nearly dying in 2018, 11 days in coma, to then coming out and having a stomach issue, to then having a out of nowhere neck situation, nerve situation, and even muscular situation that I am still treating right now, to then these last couple of months being attacked, some bug in my stomach that yet doctors are yet to figure out. But because I choose each day, and let me tell you, there are days that are challenging. They're more challenging than others. It's easier to say, I quit. I don't want this anymore. It's easier, my friends. It can be easier. Oftentimes I want to wake up and I say, I don't even want to wake up. What's the use? Things aren't changing. I'm not like I used to be. But then I remind myself, no, I'm still alive. There's something greater to keep fighting for. There's something beautiful that is next to you, that is worth fighting this fight and this life and pressing through to achieve the life that I said I wanted, that I committed to on the first moments of life, that I said yes to this journey, that have evolved and that have changed. But reminding ourselves that all of these challenging moments, they're just temporary. That if we can outlast it, we will win. If we can keep choosing health, we will win. If we can keep choosing us and having a better life and being a better human, we will win. So I challenge you today. Choose you. And let's get to this place mentally that now you become resilient as can be. You are so determined as can be that it doesn't matter if the scale is telling you, again, another week, nothing happened. You say, I don't care. I will see you go down. I will win. You go on the mirror and you look at yourself, nothing's changed. Body's still the same. Not for long. I will win. Because when that happens here, that mindset shift happens here, you will win. Thank you so much for tuning in today. There may have been instances where I sounded like I was maybe being harsh or like being angry or maybe coming at you in a certain way. Look, it's not my heart. I'm so passionate about this, and I believe in living healthy so much that oftentimes the way I speak and the passion may come out that way, but I want you to know that I love you. I just want you to live a life that you are so profoundly happy with and passionate about, and see you through getting to the achievements that you want. And holding myself to the commitment that I told when my best friend passed away. As long as I could impact somebody, I wanted to make sure that nobody went through what my best friend went through. Ultimately getting to a place where he was so obese and so desperate to get a gastric bypass surgery to later then get 2 days, an infection in 2 days and then passing away. I'm rooting for you. I am on your corner. And I want to fight this thing together with you as I fight my own journey together with you. I want you to know that you are incredible and that you truly can live the life that you desire. So with that being said, if you haven't already subscribed, click the subscribe button. Click the little bell for all the notifications of our up and coming episodes. And if you're hearing this on your favorite podcast station, look, click that follow button. And if these episodes have just been impacting you or somewhat encouraging you, giving you hope, or bringing any insight to your life, please, I'd appreciate it if you can rate us and just give us some great feedback. I want to continue to impact your life. So click the follow button if you aren't already following us on your favorite podcast station. Every Tuesday, catch a new episode, and know that you can always reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. Hit me up on all the social media platforms. You can find me on my handle at Dave K. Hernandez. At Dave K. Hernandez. You'll find it somewhere here in the video. And also, if you have any questions, maybe you're struggling with something. Maybe I can shine light on something. Maybe I can give some additional insight that maybe you just haven't received throughout these episodes. Look, shoot me an email. I'd love to connect with you. You can do that at my email, david@davidhernandez.co. david@davidhernandez.co. You'll also see it somewhere here on the bottom. Reach out. I'd love to connect with you. And also, I want to just remind you, every Friday, if you haven't already joined my community, I want to meet you. I'd love to connect with you. And every Friday, I'm doing free Friday trainings. That just means that every Friday we connect together at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I believe it's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we can just connect. We connect through Zoom. We have a discussion. The first 30 minutes, I share a topic that I want to teach about. Then the next 30 minutes are just open to conversation, are open to answering your questions. So if you have any questions specifically that you would like me to answer on these free Friday trainings, go ahead and send them to my email, david@davidhernandez.co, so that we can connect. Look, register. Click the link somewhere there in the description, somewhere in the show notes. Register. And why is it that there's registration required? Look, I want you to take action. I believe that something happens in our life when we take action. When we register, it's like I'm committing to it. And when I commit to something, it's because you desire. There's value in that you see, and I'd like to connect with you so that you can also be blessed. So thank you so much for tuning in. You are listening to Listen, You're Not Defeated. I'm your host, David Hernandez, and I want to see you in our next episode. So next Tuesday, don't miss this brand new episode. And remember, you are incredible. Go out, crush it, and live your best life. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.